snowfall as we take a live look outside. Let's check in with Emily.
Just a little bit of snow is going to be out there tonight. Are actually looking at just a dusting to maybe up to a ½ inch if we end up seeing those snow showers. So here's where they're coming from. Off to our north and our west. This is going to be diving to the south and the east, moving through late tonight and into the early morning hours of tomorrow. And then tomorrow, the wind direction is going to change. We're going to have northerly winds, and that's going to bring in some lake effect for some portions of northwest Indiana, but only a little bit of accumulation there too. It's not going to be one of those major lake effect events that we've experienced so far this season, just minor accumulations with those scattered lake effect snow showers tomorrow. Your temperatures right now, they're sitting in the mid-20s, and it actually feels pretty decent outside given that temperatures have been so cold recently. Forecast lows tonight, fairly seasonable. Normal low is right around 19 degrees, and a lot of us are dropping down into the mid-teens. I do have a forecasted day in my 7-day that's actually above the freezing mark. Those details coming up.
Thanks, Emily. A tight-knit BMX community is grieving tonight after the loss of a young rider.
Yeah, he died after an injury at a track in northwest Indiana over the weekend. Leslie Moreno live right now with what we know. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, this is a heartbreaking loss for the family and the BMX community here in Indiana. According to the organization, that young rider was only 13 years old. That organization is Steel Wheels BMX. They say 13-year-old Oliver Ball-Reed died after suffering critical injuries at the track this past Saturday. Oliver had been racing for years, often alongside his younger brother. He was well known within the BMX community. In a statement, Steel Wheels BMX says they are devastated by the loss and are focused on supporting Oliver's family, his parents, and his brother as they navigate this unimaginable tragedy. They also thanked the broader BMX community for surrounding the family with support as they mourn this difficult time. Tonight, we're also learning Oliver was a student at Hebron Middle School. The school says it is supporting students and staff by providing counselors on site today. At this time, no additional details about the incident have been released, but we are in contact with the family as well as the police department, and we're hoping to learn more details about what exactly happened here over the weekend, as well as learn more about who Oliver was and what he leaves behind. For now, reporting live here in northwest Indiana, Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
A death investigation now underway after the body of a woman was pulled from the south branch of the Chicago River. Police say that body recovered at about 8:30 this morning near Pilsen in the 2200 block of South Halstead Street. Now, she has not yet been identified. We will, of course, keep you updated.
Harvey City Council will gather tonight for a special meeting to vote for a new acting mayor. Mayor Christopher Clark passed away last week after battling an undisclosed illness. One of 6 alder people will be chosen by the council to serve the rest of Clark's term.
This was a shock to the administration, but they're used to dealing with daily challenges in the city of Harvey, so they've rolled up their sleeves and they're moving forward. We have a very competent city administrator, Corrine Davis, and she's powering through all of this to the best of her ability, so we can keep the city of Harvey moving forward to provide all these services to our residents.
The meeting will be at Harvey City Hall at 6 p.m.
We have an update tonight on the death of Alex Preddy, the county medical examiner ruling his death a homicide. Preddy protesting the presence of ICE and Border Patrol in Minneapolis when federal agents shot and killed him more than a week ago. Border Patrol initially claimed that Preddy was attacking them. However, witnesses contradict that account. The FBI is leading the investigation into his death. Now, the death of Preddy and Renee Good leading to weeks of anti-ICE protests in Minneapolis as well as other cities.
Now, Democrats in the House are demanding changes to how ICE operates. This is a live look at the Capitol, where they are willing to keep the government closed to try to bring Republicans to the table. Terrence Lee is here with where things stand tonight.
Donna Scott, Senate Democrats in the White House reached a deal last week to fund most agencies through September. It only funds the Department of Homeland Security for 2 weeks. That gives lawmakers time to discuss reforms, but that plan still needs to pass the House, and Democrats there are not fully on board.
We need a robust path toward dramatic reform. The administration can't just talk the talk. They need to walk the walk. That should begin today, not in 2 weeks.
Less than an hour ago, the Homeland Security Secretary announced every DHS officer in Minneapolis is now being issued body-worn cameras. That was one of the Democrats' demands, and Republicans were open to that one. But most Republicans drew the line at banning masks.
You have people doxing them and targeting them. Of course, we don't want their personal identification out there on the streets. And so we've got to work through this in a meaningful way, in a thoughtful way that comports with common sense.
The House is expected to vote on that revised funding deal tomorrow. But if all Democrats and more than one Republican vote no, the government will remain shut down. Scott.
Terrence, thank you for that. A group of college Republicans facing backlash tonight on the campus of the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign.
Political reporter Paris Schutz has been following this. And Paris, just tell us what happened. What was posted online?
Well, they posted, the college Republicans at the University of Illinois posted an animated screenshot that showed the moments before the killing of Alex Preddy. So the agent pointing the gun at Preddy's head, Preddy's kneeling on the ground, and the caption under that image basically said, support invader, only traitors help invaders. So it looked like they were celebrating the death of Alex Preddy, and now they are under a Title VI investigation by the university. Now, they since took that post down. I did reach out to the college Republicans, and they agreed to answer written questions for me. They said the image was AI generated and used as a symbolic political imagery to convey support for law enforcement and sovereignty. It was not intended to depict a real event, a real individual, or to endorse harm or violence toward anyone. Now, the image was removed, they said, to prevent misinterpretation while we reviewed concerns that were raised. Its removal was not an admission of wrongdoing. Now, the university officials said to me today in a statement, quote, hate and intolerance are not aligned with our university values. We condemn rhetoric or imagery that appears to glorify violence or demean individuals or groups based on identity or beliefs. Such rhetoric does not reflect the values of dignity, respect, and care that we expect from members of our community. So this image on a broader post about supporting ICE, supporting federal immigration, and wanting robust deportation got the college Republicans in trouble, and they are now under a Title VI investigation on that campus. The university says they're an independent group, but they have to follow the rules of the campus at U of I.
All right, Paris, keep us posted on that. Also, so Mayor Johnson, in a little bit of controversy over his executive order pertaining to ICE. Tell us what happened with that as well.
Well, Mayor Johnson this weekend, on Saturday, signed this executive order basically that would empower police and others to document alleged abuses by federal immigration agents, body cam footage, entering things into a database. Remember, Police Superintendent Snelling said, it is not my job to arrest other law enforcement. We're not going to arrest other sworn law enforcement. So the mayor, basically, this is documenting it so that the Cook County State's Attorney can come in and prosecute. The problem is the mayor claimed that he crafted this executive order with the agreement of the state's attorney.
And then she said,
she comes out on Saturday and said that's not true.
Right.
That this is the first that I'm seeing of this. Today, the mayor's office spokesperson basically clarified they had worked with the chief of policy in the state's attorney's office to craft the language of this order. So it's news to them that Eileen O'Neill Burke, the state's attorney, is not aware of this. O'Neill Burke is not supporting or condemning this executive order, saying we just need to review this. This is of the utmost importance, and we need to take a look at this. But this notion that this was done with my approval, that's news to me.
So she was clarifying.
She was clarifying.
But did not give a yay or nay on it yet.
She did not give a yay or nay. But you know, the two sides are disagreeing here. The mayor says we work with your chief of policy. We revised the language on this 5 days before it came out. Maybe the chief of policy didn't share it with the actual Cook County State's Attorney because she said she didn't see this executive order until Saturday. Right. So, and she's been loath to really get involved in prosecuting any kind of alleged misconduct from immigration agents. You see other district attorneys in other states like Pennsylvania being more aggressive. So it's been kind of a hodgepodge of how to go about oversight and prosecuting when federal immigration attorneys break the law.
And so she said, we will review it and essentially get back to us.
Pretty much.
Okay.
But a little bit of a kerfluffle there, and these two officers are not seeing eye to eye right now, clearly.
All right, Paris, keep us updated on both.
You got it.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, attorneys representing a Chicago woman shot by immigration agents tonight, pushing for authorities to release the body cam footage in her case. Now, this is the Mari Martinez case. You may recall she was accused of ramming her vehicle into a Border Patrol vehicle back in October. She was shot by federal agents, not once but multiple times. Charges against her were later dropped. Well, she'll be speaking about her case in Washington tomorrow during a congressional forum.
A Chicago-based lawyer representing the family of Renee Good will also testify at that same forum tomorrow. Antonio Romanucci is leading the civil investigation into her killing. 2 of Good's brothers are also set to testify tomorrow. A jury in a wrongful raid trial is being selected today in Chicago. Opening statements expected to begin tomorrow with virtual testimony from former Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The raid happened in 2018 when Emanuel was mayor. According to court documents, Chicago police swarmed the wrong apartment in the back of the yards, pointing assault rifles at children and forcing their grandmother to stand outside without pants on. The family is suing the city of Chicago and the police officers involved.
Still have the news at 5. We're in Arizona tonight, where the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has gone missing.
Plus, today marks 18 years since the Lane Bryant murders. We are hearing from the brother of one of the victims.
Some survivors of domestic violence here in Illinois are getting Ring cameras. The idea is to help keep them safe.
Fox 32 News is
The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has been reported missing in Arizona.
Steve Nielsen is live. Steve, police say they have a crime scene now and that there are signs the 84-year-old didn't leave on her own.
Yeah, they've called this a crime scene as opposed to a search at different points throughout the day today. You know, the landscape in this neighborhood, it's made it very challenging for search and rescue teams because it's just so thick and dense out here in this Tucson neighborhood. And again, they're saying that this is a homicide investigation. Homicide investigators are here, but is a missing persons case as well. The Pima County Sheriff's Department helicopter flies just above the palm trees of Nancy Guthrie's Tucson home. The mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie didn't show up for church Sunday, so family called authorities. Inside her home, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano said there was evidence of a crime scene. Her phone, wallet, and keys were still inside the home, but she was missing. Monday morning, the search was paused.
And everything we've thrown at this. They're going to step aside. We'll call them out again if we need to do more searching. But right now, we don't see this as a search mission as much as we do a crime scene.
By Monday afternoon, though, the search picked back up with deputies in backpacks entering the brushy area around the Catalina Foothills home with the helicopter circling above.
Shocking. I mean, shocking anywhere. That would be shocking.
Neighbors say overnight, deputies went door to door.
Talked to people, asked to see ring videos, gone through backyards, asked us if we've seen anything.
But I think what needs to happen is for there to be some resolution. And I just hope that it's more favorable than it appears to be.
Guthrie's 84, has no cognitive issues and lives alone. Deputies are reviewing surveillance camera video at the home. She's considered missing.
She is very limited in her mobility, right? We know she didn't just walk out of there. That we know. There are other things at the scene that indicate there was she did not leave on her own.
Savannah Guthrie issued a statement saying, on behalf of our family, I want to thank everyone for the thoughts, prayers, and messages of support. Right now, our focus remains on the safe return of our dear mom. Now, we wanted a little more clarity here, so we reached out to the Sheriff's Department again, asking, was she abducted? And they told us that that is something that they're investigating at this point. There is a bit of a ticking clock here, too, because they said that she's in desperate need of her medication. If she doesn't get it for 24 hours, it could be fatal. Reporting live in Tucson, Steve Nielsen, Fox Chicago.
It has been 18 years since the Lane Bryant store murders in Tinley Park.
It was February 2nd, 2008, and detectives say they are still working to solve the case. Police say a gunman posing as a delivery man led 5 women into the back of the Tinley Park store at Brookside Marketplace. The manager called 911 while it was happening, and police were able to respond quickly, but it was too late. The manager was one of 5 women killed. A 6th woman was shot in the neck and survived. She provided a description of the killer, who is still out there. On this anniversary, police are vowing to solve it with the help of new technology and new forensic capabilities on a national level now. A brother of one of the victims talked about it on Good Day Chicago this morning.
I think it's a simple case of somebody knows who he is, right? He's somebody's nephew, somebody's grandson, somebody's son. So until that's really addressed, I'm not sure that we'll ever find out anything. I have to believe the police are doing everything they can, because if they're not, then that really makes you question society, because those are the ones that are there to help you. But like I said, until somebody releases some information, I'm not quite sure we'll ever find out.
Anyone with information should call the hotline at 708-444-5394 or email lanebryant.tipline@tinleypark.org. There is a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
So tomorrow, Chicago City Council will once again vote on changing the curfew ordinance.
It's happening during a public safety committee hearing. The proposal gives Chicago police the power to issue a time and place order, but only if they give 12 hours notice.
Brett Pagansky live outside City Hall. And Brett, this is a topic that not everybody is a fan of.
All right, we don't have Brett's audio. We'll, of course, try to get back to him in a moment. And let's toss it over right now to Terrence.
All right, Dawn. Thank you.
We see you.
Okay, here we go. 1,000 people in Illinois just got Ring cameras for free. They're all domestic violence survivors. Attorney General Kwame Raoul partnered with Amazon and the Illinois Coalition Against Domestic Violence to make it happen. Anyone working with domestic violence agencies across all 102 counties got them, each with a free subscription and end-to-end encryption, so only they can see the footage. The cameras record when someone shows up who shouldn't be there, evidence that can prove a protection order was broken. Raoul says it's needed because domestic violence murders in Illinois jumped 140% in the last few years, according to the coalition, even as other violent crimes drop. Now, Amazon tested this in Houston back in 2021 and quickly saw why this was needed.
We launched a pilot program with free devices and subscriptions, and just 2 weeks later learned that a survivor was quickly able to activate her safety plan, where she received a motion alert that alerted her that her abuser was approaching her home with a weapon.
All 1,000 cameras already went out, but agencies can request more through TechSoup. That's a nonprofit tech provider. Amazon has donated over 35,000 devices to domestic violence groups across the country. If you need help or know someone who does, the Attorney General's hotline is 1-800-228-3368. Dawn.
Thank you, Terrence. Let's update our forecast now. It felt good out there. I mean, compared to what we've been experiencing, right? People are even walking around the bean right now, Emily.
I know it feels so warm just because of how cold it was, but temperatures today, it was actually pretty cold, below average for this time of the year. Your average high now sits right around 32 degrees, and today we ended up topping out in the mid to upper 20s. It's 26 degrees right now at O'Hare, 23 at the Chicago lakefront, 28 in Gary, 26 in Valparaiso. We're now at 23 in DeKalb, 21 in Woodstock, 26 in Morris, and it's 25 degrees in Aurora. Here's where we're headed. So throughout the overnight, we are going to be tracking at least some very light snow that's going to begin to move in. Just a dusting to maybe up to a ½ inch if we're able to get some banding going on. But for the most part, this looks like a very light event. Not everybody's even going to see it. And then tomorrow morning, we'll have some light lake effect snow showers developing, moving into portions of northwest Indiana. Some of these may try and drift into northeastern Illinois, but for the most part, it's going to be a rather quiet day for a lot of us tomorrow with high temperatures in the mid-20s. Your 5-day forecast tomorrow, 25 degrees, 27 dry skies on Wednesday. Thursday, we have another chance for light snow moving through. Temperatures, though, late this week looking pretty good. We're going to be close to the freezing mark on Thursday. By Friday, we are finally going to be above freezing. We'll be right back.
Pay attention.
All right, we want to get back to that curfew ordinance. City Council here in Chicago is set to vote on tomorrow.
Let's head back to Brett Bagansky. Brett.
Well, you can actually hear us now, but, things are always changing out in the field, much like this curfew ordinance that City Council has been debating now for months. And we've heard from Mayor Brandon Johnson talk about why he was against changing the curfew ordinance, saying that it would give one specific government body, in this case it would be Chicago Police, unilateral control over the curfew policy. But he also said he was against it because of potential civil rights violations. So under the proposed changes to this curfew ordinance, it would allow Chicago Police to issue what's called the time and place order, which bans minors from gathering in public places, but only if police give 12 hours notice. And this is designed to address recent teen violence, like what we see happen during the city's Christmas tree lighting, where multiple people got shot, including one 14-year-old boy who died. So today, I spoke with Maria Paula Daguio from Communities United, which works with teenagers and teaches them job skills for after high school. And they feel this proposed SNAP ordinance discriminates against young people for simply existing, and they feel doesn't address the root cause of many problems and trauma that young people are facing.
Changing this mindset that young people are a problem, actually they can be huge assets to our communities. Again, with the right investment, they're able to, really hone in their leadership skills. And really that's, at the end of the day, if you involve young people and allow them the power to decide the things that's going to rule their lives, there's a lot more ownership and love that goes into it.
There's still a lot of uncertainty over this ordinance. Almost 2 weeks ago, when they were debating this at City Hall, one of the big changes was allowing Chicago Police to take some of the minors who were violating curfew into custody, but they wouldn't be formally arrested. So that's certainly going to be brought up during debate tomorrow. But just to show you how big of an issue it is, Communities United is going to have some teenagers speaking tomorrow about why they are against this curfew. Certainly, we're going to bring you the very latest and more tonight at 9 o'clock. But for now, we're live outside City Hall. Brett Pagansky, Fox Chicago.
Thank you, Brett. The bitter cold hitting the south right now. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And most of the area is still cleaning up from a major snowstorm.
Yeah, the bullseye, North Carolina, Charlotte, experiencing their fourth biggest storm in that city in history. 11 inches, 6 of it falling in Raleigh. That's their biggest snow system in 4 decades. In South Carolina, snow reports topped about 15 inches. That's their snowiest day since 1896.
There were also extremely rare snow flurries in Tampa. There was no accumulation, but it's been very cold by their standards. Tampa dropping to a daily record low of 29 degrees. Orlando dipping to 24 degrees, actually freezing many of the fountains at Disney World. And Miami dropped to 35, the coldest there in 16 years.
Oh, I know you already. Hey. Hey. You're okay. You're fine. Yeah. Good little deer. You're good.
Just gonna sit here and pet it?
We're always in Florida during this segment, and usually it's gators that are wandering into homes. This time it's a deer. Crashed through a window, went into the living room, as you can see, had trouble with its footing. Deputies got there, deer terrified. They did calm the little fella down and let it back outside.
Also in Florida, a quick change of plans for one guy. He was on his way out the door to head to work when he abruptly turns around and rushes back into the house, and it's clear why. A black bear was casually strolling across his yard.
Still ahead of the news at 5. This is pretty cool. Another Gary native has a Grammy Award.
And CPS is honoring Black legacies. We'll take you to one school and show you how they're celebrating a pioneer in biology. Casey.
Plus, debate is heating up over the future of the old Mars plant. Some residents pushing back against large-scale housing.
Now at the bottom of the hour, 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring. What the groundhogs and Emily have to say.
New changes to SNAP benefits now in effect. Some food banks concerned about meeting the need.
First, neighbors on the city's far northwest side are pushing back on redevelopment plans for the old Mars candy factory.
Yeah, the smell of chocolate that once had defined the neighborhood, gone. Residents weighing in on what should come next.
Casey Crona is live in Galewood with more. Casey.
Well, if this project gets the green light, the developer wants to put close to 500 residential units here, a mix of senior living, townhomes, and apartments. But some say there are already too many housing developments going up nearby, including at the former Sears. The old Mars Wrigley plant here in Galewood was shuttered in 2024 after 95 years. A major production site for Snickers, Three Musketeers, and Milky Way bars. The factory long served the community with jobs, but now it's entering into a new era. McCaffrey Interests was chosen as the developer for the 20-acre site shortly after the plant shut down. The former admin building, a Spanish Revival-style structure along Oak Park Avenue, is landmarked and will be protected. As for the rest of the property, its future is up for debate. McCaffrey Interests held 3 input meetings in December announcing its housing proposal, but some residents say they don't feel their concerns are being heard.
They look at return on investment. They're in the business to make money. What we look for is a return on community investment.
We need a library. We need a youth center. The mayor talk about get them off the street. This would be a great location for an apprenticeship program, sports program. My main concern is let's take care of the kids.
29th Ward Alderman Chris Taliaferro tells us the plans aren't set in stone, writing in part, it is important that we continue to meet over the next several months as a community with McCaffrey Interests to express what best represents and would be beneficial to the Galewood neighborhood. That is the project that will ultimately garner my support and recommendation. As of now, we are not at that point. Neighbors are planning to hold a community meeting of their own this Wednesday. They are calling for a referendum along with traffic and parking studies. We've reached out to McCaffrey Interests and Mars Wrigley for statements, but did not immediately hear back. Reporting live in Galewood, Casey Cronis, Fox Chicago.
Now to Dixmoor, where tonight the village has issued another boil water order, another water main break. It happened yesterday at 139th between Dixie Highway and Thornton Road. The village president says about half of the residents in the city have been impacted. Now, it has been repaired since this morning, although it is not clear tonight how long the boil order will last. Illinois gubernatorial candidate Ted Dabrowski says the Governor J.B. Pritzker has failed to live up to a campaign promise to fix the state's skyrocketing property tax bills, now the second highest in the nation. Dabrowski, a conservative from Wilmette who spent his career in the private sector, says under Pritzker, tens of thousands of Illinoisans have fled to neighboring states as part of an affordability crisis that Dabrowski says can be fixed by taking a page from the Hoosier State.
We should phase in a 1% property tax cap on people's homes. So nobody's property tax on their assessed value should be higher than 1%. It's what Indiana does, so we're going to steal from the page book of Indiana. It's a good one.
Now, we did reach out to Governor Pritzker's office for a response. His campaign tells us the governor is focused on education, mental health, workforce development, and the environment.
The Real ID deadline is here. Starting today, travelers without a Real ID will have to buy a $45 TSA Confirm ID. It identifies your identity using your name, address, and birth date on TSA's website. It's valid for 10 days of travel, meaning if you take a 2-week trip, you'll have to pay the fee again. Those who don't have a Real ID can avoid the fee if they have a passport or military ID.
New work requirements for SNAP benefits now in effect. It's all part of the big, beautiful bill.
People are now required to work at least 80 hours a month. Those who do not will have to volunteer at least 80 hours a month to stay eligible for food assistance. The work rules expanded to include people who are homeless, veterans, and parents of teens 14 and older. It's estimated the new SNAP rules could leave roughly 200,000 people in Illinois without benefits. The Greater Chicago Food Depository is expected to see a surge of people similar to what they saw during the government shutdown.
during that time when SNAP was interrupted just for like a week and a half, we served more than 240,000 household visits, and that's the highest number in our nearly 50-year history at the Food Depository. So we are anticipating something similar to that.
To get SNAP benefits, you will have until March 1st to show proof of job status.
All month long, Chicago Public Schools will be honoring Black excellence, resilience, and legacy. That started today in North Lawndale's Chalmers Steam Elementary School. They have a new chicken coop. There's 5 hens and 2 roosters. And there's a plaque that says, continuing the legacy of Dr. Mary Logan Riddick. She was born in Georgia in 1914. When she was 15, she enrolled at Spelman College, majoring in biology. She is widely known for her groundbreaking work on chick embryo development, which helped understand human fetus development. She later went on to become the first woman biology professor at Morehouse College. The principal says the new chicken coop will give students a hands-on learning experience that helps them understand sustainability.
They're going to have specific responsibilities in maintaining the coop and taking care of the actual chickens there. So once they actually lay the eggs, the kids will actually pull the eggs, clean the eggs, and make sure that they're available for the community here at the school. Because we're trying to teach the kids how we want them to actually live out in North Lawndale, right? Create, make sure they take care of things and take care of their own community.
CPS says Black history is Chicago's history, and it lives within schools, curriculum, and within every young mind.
It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
What? It's Groundhog Day, and according to Punxsutawney Phil's prediction, winter will not be coming to an end anytime soon, as you heard. The iconic groundhog saw his shadow today at Gobbler's Knob in Pennsylvania, which means we'll have 6 more weeks of winter weather.
Willie looked skyward to the east, then behind to the ground, and stated clearly in groundhogese, I definitely do not see a shadow. Spring is coming.
But Phil is overrated. Woodstock Willie did not see his shadow today, which means spring is coming early. And Emily predicted this.
Well, I will tell you, as someone who's been to Gobbler's Knob, that's just about getting, a little intoxicated. It's not about weather. So I'm going with Woodstock, and I'm going with Emily.
Who was it that was calling them rodents the other day?
Probably me.
Oh, I thought it was Mark Strell, but I don't know. If you want to take credit for it, it's okay.
Well, I mean, that is what they are, right? They're just really large rodents, right?
They are kind of cute, though.
We want to know what say you, Emily.
And don't drive angry.
Well, here, I'll say some good news for you.
Okay.
We have 27 days until meteorological spring begins. So yes, spring is right around the corner. And throughout the month of February in Chicago, we're actually going to be gaining about 70 minutes of daylight. So 1 hour and 10 minutes. That's pretty good. Satellite and radar. Right now, things are fairly quiet, but we are watching the snow that's farther off to our north and our west. That's going to be diving to the southeast, moving through late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Not everyone's going to see snow, and those of us that do, I think it's just going to be a dusting. And then we have the chance for a couple lake effect snow showers to develop, mainly in northwest Indiana tomorrow. We'll dry things out on Wednesday. By Thursday, we have another chance of light snow moving through. Your temperatures are currently sitting in the mid-20s. We have wind chill temperatures that are currently in the teens. Actual air temps tonight dropping down to about 16 degrees with 5 to 10 mile per hour winds. So that's enough to send wind chill temps likely into the upper single digits to near 10 degrees. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow, lake effect snow showers possible in northwest Indiana, basically everywhere else, partly sunny. And then on Wednesday, we're going to see a little bit more in the way of sunshine, high of 27, and we are close to the freezing mark by Thursday.
Fox 32 News.
And the Grammy goes to Bad Bunny, Debbie
Debbie Terrar, Mas Fotos, makes Grammy history. Did I say that right? Becoming the first, thank you, Tia, Spanish language album to win Album of the Year. On Sunday, he's performing during the Super Bowl halftime show. By the way, Kendrick Lamar also made history, becoming the rapper with the most ever Grammy wins. And he's the first to take home back-to-back Record of the Year awards. On the news at 4, we spoke with music journalist Selena Fergassi about the significance of the wins.
I think Bad Bunny is really speaking to a moment right now that we're all living through. I think Kendrick is just such an incredible poet, and he deserves all the accolades.
Some other notable winners: Olivia Dean took home the Grammy for Best New Artist, and legendary filmmaker Steven Spielberg reached EGOT status. That's an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Spielberg won Best Music Film for his documentary Music by John Williams.
Wasn't in a rush to win a Grammy, but after being nominated before and coming up short, Freddie Gibbs is happy that he did. Our Tia Ewing spoke with Gibbs and has more on his historic win.
Okay, where was he when he won?
He was actually out walking his dogs. He lives in LA. His phone started blowing up, and that's when he knew something was awry. The rapper and actor says he's been grinding for 15 years. The song was already on the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100. When Gibbs got on the track, it took off even more.
Never running out, Porsches and the mamas out. Money showers called my account and I spent the dumb amount.
Out here on the West Coast. So, you know, I was just walking my dog and then I got, you know, my phone just started blowing up and I was just like, oh man, we got it. So it was, you know, it was an honor and a pleasure to, you know, be on that song with Leon. I've been working with Leon since like, I want to say like the better part of like 2014.
Yeah, you just never know when your career may really take off. From the Still City to center stage, Freddie Gibbs makes history, becoming the first rapper from Gary, Indiana to win a Grammy. He also joins fellow Gary natives Michael and Janet Jackson now. The win came from a 54-second verse on Mutt Remix, proof that one moment can change everything. The track appears on Leon Thomas III's Grammy-winning album Mutt. The project didn't just make noise, it made history, winning Best R&B Album of the Year and becoming the first sophomore album by a solo male artist to do so since D'Angelo's Voodoo. Music runs deep for Gibbs. His father was part of the Shy Lights. Gibbs is heading overseas on tour and now appears on the big screen in the film Night Patrol. Still, no matter how far the spotlight reaches, Gibbs says his heart and his work remain rooted in Gary.
It's a real blue-collar, family-knit town, you know what I mean? A lot of our families came from, like, you know, Mississippi, Alabama, like down south. That, you know, I know that's the story of my family. Like, you know, we definitely migrated from the south to work in the steel mills, and you know, most of my family members were steel mill workers. My mother worked in the post office for 30 years. So I think, you know, if anything, you know, Gary gave me definitely a blue collar mentality that, you know, that's carried me through the industry.
Now, Gibbs says his Grammy trophy will have a home at Gary's Hard Rock Casino. Mayor Eddie Melton says details for when that will happen are still in the works. Keep in mind, he just won yesterday. But the rapper and actor isn't stopping there. Gibbs' next goal is building a farm in Gary, and he also happens to be a Chicago Bears fan. And here's Cassie with a look at sports.
Watch the Gary Bears one day. I don't know, Tia. I'm Cassie Carlson. Coming up in sports, the Illini are reaching new heights along their 11-game winning streak, where they rank after another top 5 road win. And it's Super Bowl week in Santa Clara. We are taking game picks all week on Chicago Sports Tonight. We have a preview right after the break.
Nothing beats a Chicago sunrise.
Emily, we're feeling good about the forecast.
You know what? It's a lot better than last week. We can say that. You know, it's kind of surprising that in early February, you know, we're looking at below average temperatures the next couple of days, but for it to feel this good.
Right, and we still celebrate 20s.
Yes, we are celebrating 20s, and today we had wind chills in the teens, and it still felt pretty nice. All right, your 5-day forecast here. We are in the 20s the next couple of days again. Average is 32. We're going to get closer to that by Thursday. By Friday, I think we're actually looking at above normal temperatures and above freezing. So we're going to have a little bit of a thaw taking place on Friday. High temperatures are going to be in the mid-30s. And then looking beyond the next 5 days, so this is from February 8th through the 12th. Notice how we're not really favored to see below or above average conditions, but what you can take away from this map here is we have a warmer air mass that's off to our west that is slowly getting a little bit closer to us. So we're going to start to see at least a little bit of a pattern flip-flop heading our way in the next couple of weeks. Satellite and radar, things are fairly quiet for now, but we do have snow that's off to our north and our west. That's going to be diving to the southeast, but notice the coverage here. It's not all that high. So for those of us that do end up seeing that light snow tonight, it's just going to be a dusting to maybe close to a ½ inch if we're able to get some of those heavier bands to develop. But again, not everybody's going to see that. Any untreated surfaces could become slick. And then taking us into early tomorrow, the wind direction is going to change following that cold front. So with a north wind, we're going to see some lake effect possibly developing across northwest Indiana. It's not going to be heavy. We're not going to have one of those big lake effect events unfolding like what we've seen recently, just scattered snow showers on and off through the day for northwest Indiana, possibly trying to sneak into southern Cook County. But I think for the most part, this is mainly going to be for northwest Indiana tomorrow. 7-day forecast tomorrow, 25, 27, partly cloudy on Wednesday. Thursday, 31. We have a chance of light snow during the day on Thursday. Friday, dry skies. And then this weekend, we are planning on highs in the 20s. Cassie.
Thanks, Emily. The Seahawks and Patriots have touched down in Santa Clara. Radio Row is packed for Super Bowl talk all week. Now, they say defense wins championships, and the Seahawks have the #1 scoring defense, but the Patriots have an MVP candidate as their quarterback as Drake May becomes the second youngest quarterback at 23 years old to start in a Super Bowl. Well, this week we are asking guests on Chicago Sports Tonight who they're picking for Sunday's game.
I'm excited for the possibility of a really good game. I think Seattle's the team you have to pick considering the gauntlet that the Seahawks went through in the NFC West. I just think the combination of that Seahawks defense with some of the firepower that Seattle has, that looks like a complete offense now with Sam Darnold. So I think I would go with Seattle, something like 27-20.
Plenty more coming up with Brad Biggs and Danny Parkins on Chicago Sports Tonight. Who is the most likely cap casualty for the Bears as they look to free up some cap space? If the Bears were to redraft in 2024, would they draft Caleb Williams or Drake May? And can the White Sox mend their mistake leaving Frank Thomas off their Black History Month graphic? That and more coming up on Chicago Sports Tonight at 6 on Fox Chicago Local and tonight at 9:30 right here on Fox Chicago. Well, after knocking off Nebraska for their second top 5 road win in 8 days and extending their win streak to 11 games, the Illini move up to 5th in the latest AP poll, just trailing Michigan in the Big Ten standings. Keaton Wagler named Big Ten Freshman of the Week for a 5th time after averaging 25 points per game and shooting 50% from the field in their last 2 wins last week. The Illini back in Champaign on Wednesday to host Northwestern. The NFL international slate is up to 9 games in 2026. It'll return to Madrid, where the Bears are one of 3 teams with marketing rights. Paris will host a game for the first time, with the Saints being one of the participating teams. And Roger Goodell just announced a Mexico City game in December. The Blackhawks playing their final home game before the Olympic break tonight. They'll host the Sharks puck drop at 7:30. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
What's your
All right, your 7-day forecast. We have temperatures the next couple of days that are going to be similar to what we had today. We're going to be in the 20s tomorrow. Same thing on Wednesday. We do have a small chance for some light snow out there tonight, so a dusting is possible. Of course, any untreated surfaces may become slick. Tomorrow, lake effect snow showers across northwest Indiana. Wednesday, dry skies. Thursday, light snow returns just about area wide, I think, on Thursday during the day, a high of 31. And then we are above freezing, everybody, on Friday.
Short sleeves and shorts.
It's going to feel pretty good for a day.
All right. Emily, thank you, and thanks for joining us at 5.
Now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We're on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here at 9.
If you think you can't
you